Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Michael Knopf. I'm the rabbi here of Temple Bethel, and on behalf of our congregation, we want to welcome everybody here today and to say thank you for being here. As we say in Hebrew, Yasher Koach, which means job well done, because I know that you feel and we feel that it is our responsibility to stand together and to stand for justice, to stand with those who are oppressed. Kalu badmot einai, chamarmaru me'ai. My eyes are spent with tears, my heart is in tumult. These are the words of the biblical book of Lamentations, which is traditionally believed to have been authored by the prophet Jeremiah, describing the Jewish people's anguish when in ancient times, conquering tyrants destroyed our temple, laid Jerusalem in ruins, and forced our people into exile. For over 2,000 years, Jewish people have recalled those laments on this day, Tisha B'Av, the 9th day of the Hebrew month of Av. On Tisha B'Av, we gather as mourners, fasting, chanting lamentations, singing dirges and elegies, not so much in grief for what has been lost, but rather in anguish over what has not yet been rebuilt. The destroyed city of Jerusalem is the Jewish tradition's symbol for a world yet unredeemed. We observe Tisha B'Av because millions upon millions of people in our world, our brothers and sisters in our great human family, continue to suffer exile, torment, and oppression. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand wither. Let my tongue cleave to my palate if I don't remember you, if I don't place Jerusalem above my highest joy. We hold the recognition of our world's brokenness before us, and we are urged to keep it there, obscuring, even if only a little bit, our privilege, our comfort, and our joy, because none of us can be truly free until all are free, because my liberation is bound up in yours, because, as Dr. King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So we grieve today because our grief reminds us that our work is not yet completed, that our broken world is not yet repaired, and that we are called upon to pursue justice for all, to champion the stranger, to protect the vulnerable, to free the bound from their chains, and to frustrate the designs of all would-be oppressors. That's why we are here today. This year, Tisha B'Av, a day that reminds Jewish people that we descend from immigrants and refugees, a day that reminds us that we inhabit a broken world, a day that reminds us that hatred and injustice lies at the heart of our disrepair, falls against the backdrop of a profound moral crisis in our country. As we speak, children are separated from parents and locked in cages. Asylum seekers and refugees are turned away and sent back to their pursuers, or crammed by the thousands into inhumane detention camps in our country. Entire communities are gripped with the fear of mass deportation. Even American citizens are detained and given deportation orders because of the color of their skin. And now this state-sanctioned bigotry has inspired hate-filled individuals with easy access to the deadliest weapons of war to attack, maim, and kill innocents. These injustices, unprecedented in their scope and cruelty, are being perpetrated in broad daylight as a matter of policy, in our name, enacted by cruel officials, endorsed by hard-hearted leaders, and enabled by widespread silence. But we refuse to be silent. As the book of Lamentations says, arise, cry out in the night. At the beginning of the watches, pour out your heart like water in the presence of the Lord. Lift up your hands to him for the life of your infants who faint for hunger at every street corner. We are here to cry out together. We are here to pour out our hearts like water together. We are here to lift up our hands to testify about the desperate parents who have been torn from their babies, and about the uninhabitable detention centers crammed with children. We are here to bear witness that the wealthiest country on earth callously shuts its doors to people fleeing disaster, poverty, violence, and persecution. We are here to bear witness to a government that criminalizes the most vulnerable and tries to dehumanize migrants and asylum seekers through criminalizing them. We are here to insist that immoral practices cannot be justified simply because they are legal, and indeed that unjust laws must be altogether uprooted and replaced with a more moral code. We are here ultimately in the spirit of this day to lament. We lament inhumane immigration policy. We lament family separations. We lament family detention. We lament denying asylum. We lament ending of temporary protected status. We lament Muslim bans. We lament refugee bans. We lament for-profit detention. We lament inhumane conditions and widespread abuse in detention centers. We lament vilifying immigrants, criminalizing immigration, and targeting immigrant communities. We lament cruelty masquerading as law. We lament injustice. Before I turn the microphone over to some dear friends and allies, I want to acknowledge that virtually everything I just said, I also said when we gathered together here a year ago today. I'm sad and frustrated and angry that in a year's time, little has changed. If anything, the situation we lamented together last year feels even worse today. In such a time as this, it's tempting to give in to despair. It's tempting to accept defeat and retreat into silence. Why continue to speak out? Many centuries ago, the ancient rabbis told the following story. A man once stood at the entrance of Sodom, crying out against the injustice and evil in that city. Day after day, year after year, he railed against the abuses being perpetrated there. One day, someone passed by and said to him, "For years, you've been urging the people to repent, and yet no one has changed. Why do you continue?" He responded, "In the beginning, I protested because I hoped to change them. Now I continue to protest and cry out so that they do not change me." My friends, let us continue to speak out. Let us continue to march forward. Let us continue to demand justice. We may in the end not change them, but at the very least, we will not allow them to change us. It's my honor to welcome my dear friend, Reverend Holly